some children just don't do well with broken homes and all these different things. But, you know, my mom, she was a drug addict. And my biological dad, he didn't want anything to do with me. So I never knew him. The time that I actually had a chance to speak with him, it was a cool conversation. And at that time, I was getting ready to get married, my first marriage. And I invited him to come. He never showed up. And I never heard from him again. And that was just that one time. And I actually had to lie to get his number because his family doesn't know about me. His wife does, that he's married to now. I guess they still married. I don't know. They know, but his mom and all of that, they don't know about me. Wow. So found out he's a preacher, y'all.
Of course.
Right. And so it took me a minute. And I still, you know, every time Father's Day wrote, I still have these little issues every now, because I feel like I don't have closure yet. I feel like I don't have closure because it's still open for me. Because I feel like if he didn't want a relationship with me, he should have told me again at that time. And I just needed to know. I was like, just in case, you know, what's our family history? Because I don't know it, you know, that kind of thing. So I would definitely say just the fact that having somebody take care of me, and I didn't even know he wasn't my real dad. They told me he wasn't my real dad when I turned 21. I was in college, right before my finals.
Oh man!
So you know how that went. So it broke my heart, and all my life I thought that was my real dad, and that's when he made my mom tell me. But that was very challenging for me, y'all, and just the childhood, the upbringing was challenging. Most people are affected by those things. But I just always think about my children. And I was like, okay, I need to make sure that if things were to go sour, if something was to go bad, that they would have their own, that they could get up and leave certain situations, or they wouldn't have to worry about certain things because they have their own money, they have their own legacy that we're building, you know. So that's what pushes me every day. And you know, that's still kind of hard sometimes. I deal with it way better than I did back then. Like, you know, that was just that's like the moment that stood out for me. And some other people, they would let that break them, but I did. I kept moving. Even though I failed out of school because I failed all of my finals, I went back to school. Now I have my MBA. You know, I have my bachelor's, my MBA, and my associates. So I have that. So I kept going. Even after that, even though I have that, I actually was one of those people who actually worked in their field with those degrees. I worked in healthcare. I worked at Providence Hospital in Columbia for a long time. I ended up being a program director over a medical program for a college for a while. And then I worked for insurance right before I quit. I worked with them for maybe like a year. And I turned in my 2-week notice. And I never looked back at corporate America again. So all of those experiences, I tell people, like, don't look at your experiences as negative and bad ones. What did you learn from it? Right? What did you learn from it? So even though my father didn't want me, I make sure that my children's fathers are in their lives. Whether whatever, it don't matter. I want their father in their life, you know, and those are things that push me to keep going. Even though I learn from those experiences. Everything that happened to me is what made me the person that I am now. It makes me stronger. It makes me want to be better than those people who did those things in their life, and to me. And I make sure that doesn't happen to my children. So that's me too stubborn to fail, because I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm not gonna let that affect me. I'm just gonna move forward and learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen to my children.